And God said, "Let the water teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the vault of the sky." So God created the great creatures of the sea, and every living thing with which the water teems, and that moves about in it, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, the livestock, the creatures that move along the ground, and the wild animals, each according to its kind." And it was so. Today we're going to talk about an animal called the sand wasp. It's part of a group of animals called insects, and there are millions of them around the world. It's part of a smaller group called crabrinid wasps. There are even a bunch of different types of sand wasps, and they're all pretty similar. This wasp can be found all over North America except on the West Coast. As its name tells us, it likes to be around sand. So wherever there is sand, whether it's a sandy beach or a playground, you may be able to find this wasp. The body of the sand wasp is not much different than other bees and wasps. It's made up of an exoskeleton, which means it doesn't have bones inside its bodies, but has a hard shell around its body that makes the animal strong. It has some key parts that give this insect some of its special abilities. The antennas at the end of the head are a very important part of the wasp. It's easy to see that these would be used to help the wasp feel things, but they also provide the sense of taste and smell. This helps them stay away from poisonous plants and predators that want to eat them. They can also communicate using the antennas by sensing pheromones from other wasps. The sand wasp has 5 eyes. The 2 big green eyes on the side of their head, those are called compound eyes, which are the type of eyes all insects have. These eyes provide a very wide range of vision, so the wasp can see all around itself, but they don't provide a very clear image. The other 3 eyes are called simple eyes, which are the type of eyes that we have. These provide a clear image, but only in the direction that they are pointed. But put them all together, this wasp has very good vision, and it's why it's so hard to sneak up on them. The thorax is the middle section of the wasp, and it's where its legs and 2 wings are attached. Like all other insects, this wasp only has 6 legs. The thorax of the wasp has all the strong muscles it needs to help it walk and fly. The wings of the sand wasp are clear and have brown veins. The veins, which are the lines you can see in the wings here, are there to make the wings strong. The pattern of the veins is something that can change between the different species of wasp, but one thing is always the same: they always will have veins. The abdomen is the end of the wasp and is where all the organs are. The nectar it eats goes into a stomach in this part. The stinger that it uses to defend itself is here. It doesn't have a traditional heart like we have, but the organ that helps blood flow through the wasp's body is in here. So it's safe to say that the abdomen is a very important part of the sand wasp. Wasps are predators, which means they hunt other insects, but it's not necessarily for themselves. The adult wasps eat nectar from flowers, but they hunt flies for their babies, which are called larvae. The female sand wasp will capture flies and then put them in sand burrows where they had laid their eggs. When the eggs hatch, the wasp larva will eat the fly. It may seem that sand wasps are just wanting to sting a human, but they're actually just wanting the small little flies that like to be close to people. So there's actually nothing to be afraid of with a sand wasp. The name of this wasp pretty much tells us where they are found: the sand. They dig multiple tunnels into the sand using their mouths to pick up the large pieces of sand and their legs to throw the sand out of the hole. Some of the holes will be used for them to lay their eggs in, and some of the holes will just be a decoy, which just means it's a fake hole, and they do this to make it harder for other insects to find their babies. The sand wasp is a solitary wasp, which means that it doesn't live in groups. A female wasp will put an egg into the hole they dig, and after about 7 to 14 days, it will turn from the egg to a larva to a wasp. It will then emerge from the hole to become a flying adult. Over the next few weeks before they die, the wasp will look for flowers to eat and flies to feed their young, and a place in the sand to dig holes to lay more eggs. The sand wasp likes to spend its whole life hanging around sand. It's got special eyes so it can see all around itself and special antennae that it uses to communicate with the world around it. It eats nectar from flowers and catches flies for its babies, or larvae. They dig deep holes in the sand where they lay their eggs and where their larvae eat the flies. So the next time you're around sand, look for a wasp and you'll know a little bit more about it.